Hey there, everybody. Welcome to a new Blacklist Season 9 discussion. We are really starting to move close to the premiere. It is only a matter of just a few weeks away now.
Yeah, so make sure you hit that subscribe button because we are going to continue to have Blacklist videos for you every single Thursday as we do today. Every Thursday after the episode airs, we will have a review up. We will also have previews up, and you don't want to miss any of it.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be an exciting season. I'm trying to be especially encouraged by the fact that they are still being like extremely secretive about things and not letting us see Reddington and not like sharing too many details about what's coming up. Like it has been pretty hush hush.
Oh, yeah, the Blacklist Twitter has posted like nothing for months. Nothing. They are not saying a word.
Yeah, and that's a very sort of bizarre situation, and I mean we may get into that a little bit more in this video just because it is unusual how NBC and their larger ecosystem is kind of going about all of this.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose the big story from this week is the return of Panabaker, who is now officially, she's gonna be going back around these parts. My Panabaker impression.
Yep, the actress confirmed this on her Instagram that she is going to be back. And so there we know that there's going to be this 2-year time jump. What is her role going to be if the task force is kind of disbanded? Is she going to come in and be like, "Hey guys, we got to get the band back together again. We have some other issues coming up. You want to come back? Let's all work together again."
I'm excited to see kind of what it's going to be like because just her like confirming that she's going to be back, like that says that all right, the FBI is still going to have some presence regardless of whether or not, because we know the task force is disbanded, but
Yep.
we don't know, does that mean that Cooper and Aram and Park, that they are not employed by the FBI, where they just sort of shifted to other departments?
Yeah, I mean, Cooper's had a long relationship with Panabaker, so it would make sense that he would still have at least some kind of contact with her.
I think it's going to be something because they're obviously still filming like the first few episodes of this season. So they're not going to wait forever to bring in Panabaker. But there's an interesting sort of school of thought here that if the task force is disbanded and if Panabaker is really salty about the fact that she had this crew of extremely compromised people who could never get their you-know-what together and she sort of just like fired them all, is the task force going to be trying to get revenge on Panabaker? Or I guess I should say the former task force. Is she going to be an adversary for them now?
I don't think so. I mean, 2 years later, you got to be really holding on to some like real grudge for that long that you're going to all of you get back together to take on Panabaker. I mean, she was right to disband the task force. Listen, I love the task force and I love them working together, but they were not working together for the FBI. Like she needed to have benched them months previous to when she actually did. They were all compromised and they were all basically just using all their resources to help Liz, which was not the purpose of the task force.
I feel like the more likely scenario is something you kind of just suggested that, it's going to be a situation where she kind of gets the task force back together, or that it's an idea that, oh, we may need somebody like this. Maybe I'm going to call everybody up and be like, all right, guys, you win. I need you again. And then they're all going to actually have to get back together, even if she doesn't really like the idea of it.
Yeah, and she may be okay with it because enough time has passed. It has been 2 years. So, I mean, maybe everyone's gotten their you-know-whats together so that they're not compromised anymore. Liz is no longer around. It is not one of their own that is out on the run like this. And, maybe it's time. Let's get the band back together.
I'm excited that we have more Panabaker. I hope she actually sticks around a little bit longer this season and we get more of an established arc because the task force is just kind of slim pickings as it is right now, especially without Liz in the mix anymore.
Yeah, and without a leading lady on the show anymore, we have Panabaker and we have Park. And that's all we have. So, with Panabaker really only being in a handful of episodes, it makes sense to bring her in on more.
I just hope we get a little bit more news on her
Yeah.
pretty soon as to what her return will be. And in general, I mean, we are expecting and or hoping that there's going to be some big news over the next week or two because the premiere is so close at this point. It's like NBC. What do you guys? You guys do actually want this show to get some ratings, right? You did move it to Thursday nights where it's airing before a couple of reasonably well-rated shows.
Yeah, I mean, we are getting really close. Like, maybe next week we should be potentially seeing a synopsis, some other details. I mean, we're getting close.
Like, they have not even officially confirmed the title for the premiere. I know there's rumors out there and all that sort of stuff, but they have not confirmed anything. And we know that NBC, they can change titles and all that stuff at the last minute. Like, there was that rumor, I think, that the finale last season was like Neville Townsend. And it's still super weird to me, by the way, that we don't have a Neville Townsend episode given his importance on this show.
Right?
That is, like, really, really bizarre. And speaking of things that are bizarre, let's get into this social media thing a little bit more because NBC, you guys, you're not talking about a show that once upon a time, like the Blacklist was one of your biggest hits. Like there was actually millions upon millions of people who were watching this. We were not all in Reddington's underground bunker with all of the other people who were still on board this ride at that point.
Yeah, their Twitter has been pretty much abandoned. They do have a YouTube channel that's, I mean, they don't really post a lot at it, but they've really posted nothing. Like, it's not a lot.
I know that I think this is going to lead to a lot of people sort of being like, okay, NBC's abandoning the show, but we've done a little bit of research on this.
That's right.
For anyone who's curious, we got out all of our research materials. We studied this.
Our detective fedoras.
I really wish I had a detective fedora.
Me too.
Actually, no, they're doing the same thing with New Amsterdam, which is actually maybe they just don't like former Blacklist cast members in addition to people on the Blacklist now.
Or maybe they're just not relying on social media the way that they were. I mean, they've done a little bit more on Instagram. It could be that they're just moving people over to Instagram because it is a huge platform. It reaches a lot of a younger audience. I mean, it is connected to Facebook, which is a massive platform. So they just may be trying to move it in a different direction. Speaking of Instagram, make sure you follow us over at Matt and Jess TV. We have some new pictures up there of Coco, some Cobra Kai stuff that we've got coming up. So follow us over there.
I gotta say this, NBC, if you guys are not gonna use your Blacklist Twitter account anymore, how about you give us the car keys? We can take over that, and it will mostly just be check out our new Blacklist video, and it'll just be mostly promoting our own channel
filled with our theories.
Oh boy, they're gonna love the Blacklist Twitter is gonna love our Tom is still alive bit we did earlier this year.
Hit that like button if you want us to take over the Blacklist Twitter.
Like I would assume and or hope that they do a little bit more with it as we get closer, or even when like the show does put out their first promo, because we're probably gonna see that over the next little while. But temper your expectations for this, everyone, because I feel like promos in general at this point, they're putting them out because they want to appeal to the casuals. They want to appeal to the people who aren't watching. So it's probably just gonna be Reddington saying something cool, looking cool. There may be an explosion or something, and that's probably going to be it.
Yeah, and we've seen already, even last season, where they, shoved Liz into a promo and she wasn't even in that episode. So don't trust the promos.
What if they put Liz in the promo for season 9?
My
Like,
goodness,
can you imagine the Blacklist fandom at that point? That they're going to start the whole, Liz is coming back from the dead stuff.
Okay, so the last thing we have for you is NBC has revived Law and Order. So how does this connect to the Blacklist?
It's not something that you probably, need to worry about right now. But if you guys remember, earlier this year, NBC ordered Law and Order for the Defense only to, cancel it and bury it a few weeks later. Yeah. And originally the Blacklist was going to air on Fridays, but after they got rid of For the Defense, They moved it over to Thursdays. If this Law and Order show, and that's a big if that airs at some point this season, the Blacklist is probably not going to be on Thursdays forever, because we can see by NBC's Twitter usage, the Blacklist is not a top priority. So if they move it again to Fridays later this season, do not be surprised.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes sense if you're going to have a whole night of Law and Order. It doesn't make sense to bring back the original and dump it on a Friday.
No, and so, like, all of that, it makes sense from a network point of view, but just, have that in the back of your mind, not something to worry about right now. But let's all put out good, positive vibes into the universe that NBC will give us something big and substantial and interesting next week, so we can really start, like, getting our jaws hanging closer to the ground, waiting for season 9 to come.
Yeah.
Let us know now, though, in the comments. What do you think they are going to do with Panabaker? Also, let us know why you want us to take over the account of the Blacklist, in addition to, liking this was just suggested. And, hit that subscribe button. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next time.